Okay, so we're gonna just get right to it. What we're looking at is the Bitcoin chart. As of right now, it is Tuesday, December 17th. Currently, we at the price of 106,800, and some people may think, okay, is it time for me to sell, or is it going to go higher? They get confused, and I can understandably understand why. And especially when there's tons of videos about what what Bitcoin is going to do next, and a lot of people just go by feeling. Well, you can go by a chart. It doesn't matter if it's a Bitcoin chart or if it's any other type of chart. Charts do not lie, but they don't tell the full story either. So rely on some other things that I will discuss in this video. But a lot of people rely on, especially people who are new to trading. And I was the exact same way. So there's no judgment. Rely on indicators. And I like to rely more on trends and resistance and support and fib levels. And I draw resistance and support somewhat different than maybe some other people I've seen. And it has worked beautifully as I've grown to learn how to do this. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to notice right off the bat is that I drew a parallel trend line. And basically you can just, if you're in TradingView, just go to the little pencil, and then I have some favorites set up, but you're looking for the parallel channel. So I know that we're still in a upward trend. We're still kind of bullish. We made a higher high. So this is on the daily chart. So the highest before the last high before the new high was about $74,000. Now we're at 106,000. I think the highest high was, most recent high was around 108,000. So the other thing I noticed is that this is a somewhat of a bearish flag, and most people would just think, okay, this is time to sell, which it could be. Right back here, and if you notice, it did drop out and then come back up. So that is a pattern that I'm going to kind of recognize as something that can happen again. If it showed me it can do it one time before, it can have another time for it to do it again. So the next step I'm going to do is see how much of a percent gain. It was a 84% gain from dropping out of that bearish flag going up. So doesn't mean that I'm gonna get another 84% gain, but I'm thinking that the potential could be to go to at least up to here. But I'm not going to go by feeling. I'm going to go by the chart. So I see my daily chart. I see that I am developing a bearish flag. I haven't seen anything drop out of it. So I'm going to drill down into the chart. So I'm going to go to all the way down to the 15 minute. Okay. this is where I'm going to, as I've already done, but I can show you what I did. I drew like a minor. So like this is the last support, but I'm going to go ahead and create a little minor support just to see if it's going to break out of there, because I have an alert to let me know once it does break out of there as well. But the way I go about doing that, I showed it on the last video, but I'm gonna show it again. I'm going to look for the last candle going down. So my green candles are my bullish candles, and my white candles are my bearish candles. So what was the last bearish candle? It was this white one right here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm gonna go from the top of this candle, from the wick all the way to the end of it right here. So hit lock, and if you notice, it went up, hit back down. This could have been an opportunity for someone if they are of a high risk tolerance. I typically like to see a hit it and then make another bounce to see if it's still going to bounce off of this or bounce higher or come out of here. So what I'll typically do is just keep an alert going above and see how high it goes before it bounces back down, and then see if it's going to bounce back down on this support, this minor support, or is it going to make its way back down to this major support, the last major support. So that's the first thing. I'm not going to just jump in because it looks like it's about to rally without having some type of confirmation. And that is the difference between a smart trader and a trader that is just going off of a gut feeling. Is nothing wrong with gut feelings, but we gotta, basically use both the gut or intuition and the logic. So this is where the logic comes in as far as the technical analysis. What is the chart saying? So, but if I wanted to be of a high risk person, what I would do is I would let this come down. I would have came in roundabout here once I saw that it hit here and it didn't come out. I would have went in and set a stop loss a little bit below this support. I would have set it a little bit below this candlestick right here, which was the last, the lowest point. And, but the thing with this is that's why I call it more of a high risk, because what can happen is, this is an area where probably a lot of people have a stop loss at, and it can get taken. So that's why I like to wait for another confirmation of a bounce to see if this support can handle the price action. So that is how I go about just kind of monitoring when to sell, or if I felt like there was another big run and I hadn't gotten in, that will be another indicator of where to get back in. So you can have different strategies. You can have, the 50-50 or a percentage break, where you break it up depending on how much you're putting in and how much room is there for, like if you putting in $1,000 or whatever, you could break it up into 500s at two different price points for stop losses. Or you could, if you have even greater amounts of money, then of course you're going to break it up into multiple orders in order for it to handle those transactions. So the next thing I typically do, and this just is me, is I will do a minor fib. I already have my major fib going where I see that we have ran quite a bit, right? We had over 127%. This is a high amount of a gain, but from where it started, and usually between 141 and 161 is usually like the real like that usually is between 127 to 161 is typically the range of like peaks. So I know I'm already in somewhat of a peak area, so that's gonna let me be more cautious. So I'm going to just do a little minor fib. And so I'm just going to go to the bottom to the top and hit lock. And what this is going to tell me is I'm looking at this right here, this 50%, because typically my like really smart buyers always want a discount. So even if they're doing a little small trade, they want a discount. So are we above that 50% from the last low? Like once we went up, we did. So it's trying to make its way up. I'm gonna try to see how far it goes before it makes a bounce. So if I was the person that was still in and was trying to figure out where to sell, I would remember that on the higher time frame, I am still bullish because I made a higher high. Now I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to make a lower low, but let's say I still want to sell near the top. So I would see that I'm at a bullish standpoint, but I would do a 50-50. I wouldn't sell all of it. I probably would sell a certain percentage, whether it be 25% or 50%, and take some of my profits. And then I would go back into the 5-minute, and I would probably set a stop loss below the support, below the 100%, and on that minor fib. And if it doesn't hit it, then I'm still in. So that's how I use the chart to control my emotions and to guide my decisions. So I hope this helps from the technical standpoint. And then the next I will talk about is beyond the chart. So the difference between the typical person or the person that is maybe a beginner in trading or investing or have been struggling with it, the difference between and I've been there myself, is that the people who are making the big bucks with trading and investing is they are not just focused on making money, but they are focused on keeping their money. And when the smart trader or investor sell, it's not just to cash out, it's to reposition. Profits are often moved into stable coins as a safety net, or to moving knowing that there is going to be a trend towards altcoins. So they will be looking at where is the money moving at. And that would be the next thing that you would focus on is, okay, even if this Bitcoin makes another move, where is my next move? And am I checking on those particular charts now to see what is happening in that arena? And I'll do another video on the sectors of altcoins and areas that the money would move probably from Bitcoin to these other altcoins. So I hope this helped. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or there's some things that I probably can't go over every single thing, because certain things you just have to learn how to use a chart, like how to make a fib, how to, I try to do my best as far as how I make my support and resistance. Just getting into the chart. If you've never even been in a chart, there are plenty of videos that can go over more beginner training on YouTube. I personally, I'm not going to go to that level, but which is fine, because you got to start somewhere, because I had to do the same thing when I first started out. So but I hope this helps. And then I think the other part I think I want to go over is actually putting in your orders, because I know I'm showing the trading from the chart standpoint. Like, what does it look like putting in your orders? It depends on what exchange you're using. So that's a whole separate video, and maybe I can go over that tomorrow. Thanks.